How's everybody doing?
Hey, Coach. Thanks for joining us for a couple of minutes this afternoon. We will begin with Lucas Tomei. Go ahead, Lucas.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about Jeremiah Gemmel. How have you guys seen him develop as a leader over the preseason? And, what does he mean to some of the younger guys on that defense?
I've seen him develop as a leader for a long time. He, early on, it was very obvious that he was a really bright kid. Football made a lot of sense to him. That he was invested in being a complete player and learning the playbook. That was obvious our first spring here. And I think as he's played more and he's become more veteran and he's really, got a lot of respect from our teammates. Now you see him, bringing, sometimes dragging other guys with him. And I think he's really changed on our defense, the expectations of what, when I first got here, I think the expectation was we practiced and you went on about your day. And I think Jeremiah Gemmel's done a good job of getting these guys to understand that there's more work to be done outside of practice. And I think that's really paid off for some of our young kids.
Andrew Jones, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, last year you guys gave up a lot of scores late in the first half of games. I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts are. If you believe that you guys have made a lot of progress dealing with that, addressing that issue, and how much does the added depth kind of help in that effort to kind of be a little fresher late in the half and not have some of those drives on you?
One thing I think Coach Brown does a great job of, among a lot of things, right, is that we address problems. And so, during the season last year, we kept saying, like, we don't know why this is happening. We're spending time on it. And so we just decided to really, we frankly made it a period in practice. So, hey, look, this is, we call it the middle eight, right? The last four of the first half and the first four of the second half. Like, we got to win the middle eight. And so it's become a real, and I think our players understand now. I think we've done a better job as coaches explaining to them how important that, those possessions are, how there is a forced change of possession at halftime, and how the possessions that go around that matters. So I do think our ability to play more people will be able to allow us to put fresher pass rushers in the game, in that situation. But I think experience in the secondary, and I think more experienced pass rushers, and I think our players understanding the seriousness and the, how that time affects us. The games we lost last year, we lost it in that span of time. So I think we've put a lot of emphasis on that.
And looking at the depth chart, I see that Chris Collins is listed as one of the starters at outside linebacker. But what areas of his game have really grown a lot since we last saw him?
I think Chris is a really, really complete football player. He's a good pass rusher, especially when we get him on tight ends and running backs, and he's a really, really smart, understands the game linebacker, right? I think Chris could play any of the linebacker spots really and know what to do. So, when we're in regular defense and we're in 3-4, he's going to play a ton, but he's going to play a lot as a DN linebacker in some of the other spots. So, he has really improved. I really like him. I think there's another great example of a leader, of a guy that spends extra time and demands other people do it too. So, I'm looking forward to, I told him probably 2 weeks ago when we first started, starting to work on Virginia Tech, I told him in warmups, I said, you're going to have to play great for us to win this game. So I think he understands how big a role he's going to have and what we're going to ask him to do.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Greg Barnes.
Hey, Jay, what's Virginia Tech's strengths offensively?
I think they do a really good job, probably as good a job as anybody we play of creating conflict in the run game. They're committed to running the quarterback, and I think they've got a really talented kid running it. So I think they force you to be, +1 on all run fits. I think they do a really good job with that. And then I think they got a really talented tight end room, and we don't see as many teams committed to playing with tight ends and running the football and setting edges. And they do that with a really athletic quarterback. And then I think the two tailbacks are really good players. I remember we first, a year ago, number 6, we thought he would be the starter going into the season. I think he's really talented. I think Zero is really talented. So I think they're committed to running the football. I think they're a physical unit, and they do a really good job using the quarterback and creating conflict with the quarterback to run the football. So I think that's that. And I think, and last year they did a really good job against us, right? They got the safeties making tackles. I think the two safeties had over 10 to 12 tackles each, and then they throw it over your head. So, they do a really good job running the football and forcing you to play with great eye discipline. And I think that's where they've had so much success on offense.
And we talked a lot last year about the difficulties for all teams in defending running quarterbacks. As you mentioned earlier, having more depth and fresh bodies, does that play a significant role in being able to do that, having just guys better conditioned and actually having depth to be able to handle that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think having more players that can play always helps, but I think what helps more is setting hard edges and doing your job in the run fit. I think that's way more important, So I do think we have more guys that are better prepared to do that, and I think that will allow us to play, less reps with some guys than we've played in the last few years for sure.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Let's go over to Noah Monroe.
Hey, Coach, Noah Monroe from the Daily Tar Heel. What was it like to see Tony Grimes at the beginning of the year, beginning of last year, not even start in the Orange Bowl to start and really put himself on the map, and then this spring and this summer really grow himself?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a real credit to our strength staff. When he got here, he was pretty skinny. He's kind of frail looking, and if you've seen him lately, he looks like a college football player now. So I think he worked really hard in the weight room and the strength staff and Miss Kelsey, our nutrition staff. And, it's like every week you kind of looked at him, it's like, man, is he getting bigger? Is he getting taller? And I think as we got towards the mid part of the season, we felt more confident about him being able to play. I mean, it's one thing none of our kids had spring practice a year ago, right? But like he didn't even have like summer meetings and stuff. So I think he got here the first day, he didn't know what anything meant. So to continue to improve, and Dre did a great job with him. And I think now, you have a young man who I think I'm very confident in. I think the rest of the defense is very confident in, who I think will play at a really high level. So I'm glad he's here.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Ross Martin.
What's up, Coach? Kind of along those same lines, but I'd like for you to maybe give us, one or two players that we think in like 3 months you think is going to have an awesome season. It's really going to jump out, that is going to make game-changing plays that maybe we don't really talk about as much. The common fan doesn't talk about as much.
I think of the young guys, I think Javari Ritchie is just getting better every day. And I think he'll play against Virginia Tech for sure, but I think his playing time is just going to increase. I think the two young linebackers, Power Eccles and Ra Dilworth, are going to be tremendous players. I think you'll see them play, and especially playing some packages where we can kind of let them do what they do best right now. So I think those guys for sure. And then, I think if there's one guy you would say like, man, compared to last year, how much better he is, I think it's probably Des Evans. I mean, I think he, last year was a good player for us, played, a decent amount. In the Orange Bowl, I thought every game he played his best game, right? Just kept improving. And then I think, he had a great spring physically, developing, he's big now, and he's playing with a lot of confidence. And I think, we expect him to have a great year.
You pretty excited, Coach? You ready? You pumped up for this defense?
I am, so Sunday we practiced last night. So I told my wife I'd go in about like 10, and I woke up about 7. I was like, I'm going to work. I was ready to go. So I think our kids are ready to go. I thought we had a great practice last night. I think our kids are ready to play. And I think our young men have put a lot of work and a lot of time in and dealt with a lot of, with last year with the COVID and all that stuff, they dealt with a lot of things to play. Right. So now I think they had a chance to go play, and I'm really excited to see them play.
Okay, over to Dina King.
Hey, Coach. Last 2 years, Virginia Tech's gained a lot of yardage on you guys. Have you got a good feel on what you got to do to stop that Hokie offense?
I guess, Dean, we're going to find out, right? Look, they do a good job. We've got to tackle better. I think that's where it starts. And, but I don't know. I sure hope so. We've been working hard at it. I know that. So I think our kids have a better understanding of our plan. I think having a little bit extra time this summer to work on them has been good. And I think, Phil and the offensive staff done a great job giving us some looks that maybe don't always fit what they want to do on offense. Stacey Searles and John Lilly, to help us get prepared. And I think our kids are very confident in the preparation they put in. Now they just got to go play.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Coach, that's the last one we had for you. Appreciate a few minutes of your time today.